The first arena we're going to be talking through is perception. And I love perception because it's one of those things that is extremely foundational, but is also often completely undervalued or maybe underappreciated, largely because it's just hidden from us. We're not even aware it's there. We're not even aware of how much it shapes everything else. So this is going to be a time to talk through specifically how this arena of perception has impacted our way of relating to time, and as a result, impacted our way of relating to life as a whole. The most basic way to understand this arena of perception is that we don't actually see reality as it is. We are constantly filtering information based upon the pre-existing models, frameworks, beliefs that we have. Our brain is almost like a little sonar device, and we pay attention to certain things, and we don't pay attention to our other things, and we weight some things highly, and we don't weight other things highly, all based off of the narratives and beliefs that are held deep inside, that sometimes are so foundational that we're completely unaware that they even exist. We have these mental frameworks that become our actual frame for how we see and engage with reality. Let me make it a little bit more concrete. What we're dealing with, specifically through this lens of time, is that we've adopted industrial beliefs. So these are beliefs around how things get done. These are beliefs around what's valuable. These are beliefs about our identity. These are beliefs around how things work. These are even beliefs around like what is good and what is not good. Our values are all informed by these industrial artifacts that we've inherited, that we've been born into to a large extent. So we have these industrial beliefs, and these industrial beliefs ultimately end up shaping industrial values. What is a value? A value is an indication of worth. So if someone goes and says, here's my values, what they're effectively saying is, here's things that I personally hold to be valuable. And what I'm suggesting here is that many of the things we value are not actually even our values. They are simply secondary effects of these industrial beliefs that we've taken on. And because we have these industrial values, we end up directing our attention towards the things we value, and we end up having this industrial attention. The way these fundamental ways that our mind views reality and engages reality ultimately directs the attention, what we pay attention to, what we don't pay attention to. And out of where we pay attention, where we don't pay attention, what we say yes to, what we say no to, emerges our behavior. And from our behavior, the way that we're actually interfacing with our external world, our life emerges out of that. So you can maybe imagine a stream of sorts. If there's a poison downstream in the river, you really have to go all the way upstream to stop whatever it is that's poisoning the rest of the river. And perception is the area where we're trying to get that poison out. Perception is where we are reprogramming ourselves and taking agency around the stories, beliefs, and values that we hold that no longer are serving us. We are informed by our culture. Our culture functions a bit like mirrors and signs. If you're walking around and you're constantly getting ads for a particular thing, that impacts you. That's why people spend so much money on ads, because it does something. People wouldn't spend money on ads if it didn't do something. And our culture is also holding up things to us all the time as to what matters and what doesn't, as to what to believe and what not to believe. And so we have this culture that we're in that is a hustle culture. It is a production-based culture. It is a culture that says your worth or your highest contribution comes from doing more. And as an effect, we've built our own internal culture that reflects that larger culture. We have our own internal culture with certain values, certain things that are promoted, certain things that are discouraged. And it's in perception that we rewrite these areas and we learn to operate out of the things that are actually true for us and not just inherited from some sort of economic movement towards more consumption and more commodity. Perception is where we reframe what it is that our life is really about. It's where we reframe what managing our time actually looks like when it's a good use of time. It's a fundamental flip on many various things. And it's within perception that we come to understand that we don't have to just serve and be a victim to what we've inherited. It's where we go and we come face to face with this fundamental core shift, which is that time isn't for tasks. Time really is for our becoming. What I want to do for each of these TimeWise introductory videos for the various arenas is end each one with a way that you can go and start living this today. And for perception, I want to share with you a true story from my own life. A good friend of mine once asked me if I would ever consider doing therapy. They had gone through therapy or gone to therapy for quite some time. And they asked me if it was something I would ever be interested in because they thought it might be something that would be helpful for me. And I remember when they brought it up and when I started hearing their stories about how they engaged therapy, what it did for them, I remember getting really attracted. And so this friend would often bring this up to me. Oh, have you considered this? Are you thinking about doing this? And it was funny because this dragged out these sort of conversations for about a year. And then at a certain point, my friend, who really is a good friend, it's really the good friends who are willing to go and confront you with truth. He was like, hey, man, you keep on saying that you're interested in doing this, but what's holding you back? Why are you not doing it? And I said, I don't know. I think it's just like a lot of money. Now, granted, this was clearly a rationalization in my mind, although I did believe it. I was thinking to myself, even though I have health insurance and it's a $25 copay, it feels like a little bit maybe like self-indulgent or just not something that I feel good investing in. And I remember he turned to me when I was sharing this and he said, I totally get that. But what is money for? As you go about this work of trying to change your perception around time, something that you can start practicing today is really living into this question. What is time for? Don't give an answer that's just something that has been rehearsed from someone else. Really think about this. What is time for? Sit with it over the course of this next week. You can even go and look back on each day and ask yourself this question. What was my time for today? What was it serving? And little by little, if you keep with this question, you'll start seeing the points of dissonance. You'll start seeing the points of resonance. And over time, you'll be able to start moving closer and closer in alignment with your time serving what it is that you actually want it to be for.